It's a defining issue as we head into Election Day. On Tuesday, voters in a handful of states will have the chance to weigh in on how their state regulates abortion. Arkansas is not on that list after the state Supreme Court blocked an abortion rights initiative from appearing on the ballot this fall. That ruling left an Arkansas woman with a painful decision to make after finding out her baby would not survive outside of the womb. Her decision to either carry to term or end the pregnancy on her own terms.
You wouldn't know until you were like not getting pregnant.
Danielle and her husband have always wanted to start a family. In 2023, they began trying for their first child. But after a year and finding few options in Arkansas, they turned to a fertility specialist in Texas for help.
I quit my job here and started traveling the 10 hours round trip to Dallas to do fertility treatments.
Not long after, Danielle found out she was pregnant.
This was the 12-week ultrasound of our baby. You can see a little profile. It felt great, you know, we were like, it had paid off, and we were super excited to finally be having a baby after, you know, a couple of years of trying.
But that joy quickly faded when a routine scan at 18 weeks revealed the baby did not have fluid, kidneys, or a stomach.
We were told there was no way that the baby would live.
Even though the pregnancy was not viable, Danielle was told her only option was to carry the baby to term. Since there was still a heartbeat, under Arkansas law, she was not legally able to have an abortion in the state.
They told us that what would basically happen is that I could get scanned every 2 to 3 weeks to see the baby and see if the baby had a heartbeat or anything like that, but there was nothing else that they could do for me.
That's when Danielle and her husband made the difficult decision to end the pregnancy on their own terms. The following day, they drove 6 hours to a clinic in Illinois to have a 2-day procedure.
There were protesters and, you know, people like that outside, yes, which, you know, already taking a very awful day and even making it more awful. But inside the clinic, everyone was so incredibly compassionate and kind and held my hand through everything.
Danielle is grateful she had the financial means to leave the state for the procedure, but knows not all women in her situation are as fortunate.
I, you know, also even almost a little bit of guilt, like that I had every resource possibly imaginable and that so many people don't in this state, and that was really frustrating and upsetting.
Following the ordeal, she and her husband made another difficult decision.
It's really frustrating, and it also made us decide we didn't even want to live here anymore.
Soon, they'll leave Arkansas and move back to her home state of Pennsylvania, ready to start a new chapter as mom and dad.
This pregnancy was our last remaining IVF embryo, and so it was our last shot, and so I'm feeling super, super grateful that it worked out and that we'll have a baby girl in the spring.
In her new state, Danielle plans to continue to advocate for women's rights as she did in Arkansas, choosing to share her story now in the hopes that one day women will be able to make the decisions they need for their own families without the law involved.
I could have become septic and died, or bled and died, and I'd like to think that, you know, my life also matters. Danielle estimates she spent about $3,000 to travel to Illinois and have that procedure, which insurance did not cover. She says she's open to moving back to Arkansas at some point if the political climate were to change. As it stands now, Arkansas law does not allow abortion in cases of fatal fetal anomaly like in Danielle's case. The only exception is if the pregnant person's life is in immediate medical danger. We reached out to State Representative Robin Lundstrom, who co-sponsored Arkansas's abortion law in 2019. We asked her about the current law and if she believes there should be exceptions in the event of a fatal fetal anomaly. In a statement, she said, quote, "My deepest sympathies go out to anyone having to make that difficult decision. The law provides relief in life-threatening situations. We need to provide more education for doctors as well as parents. If we need to refine the law to provide clarity, I am open to listening to what that bill would look like in a difficult situation." The state legislature passed a perinatal hospice law to help families in a difficult situation, end quote.